Hey everyone, I'm Mark and this is my tutor Gary. And he gave me the initial idea to do this animation, so if it gets poorly graded, you can all just go ahead and blame him. But if it gets good grades, then forget about what I just said in the last few seconds and just know that it was all my idea. No help whatsoever. All me. Now that's out of the way, let's get into the actual animation. With this being like my final project, I thought it would be quite fitting to share with you some stories from my graphic design studies, as I've now been doing graphic design for 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 years. So without further ado, the lemon story. So during 2013, on the first day, the tutors told us, as every course potentially does, to always back up our work no matter what, and treat it as if it's some sort of sacred object, that if it broke our lives would just be over. But like most, I assume, I ignored it. I'm assuming most ignored it just to try and make myself feel better. It doesn't work. I don't feel better. Anyway, around 6 months later, it was coming up to the end of a project that was going on throughout the year, where we learned how to use Photoshop, make photos look pretty, and learning how to do some digital drawings. The main one was my digital drawing, in which I drew a lemon. Using textures, drawing techniques, brushes, etc. It was a magnificent lemon. But 4 days before the deadline, I go in to plug my USB, and lo and behold, it's not recognised. It was broke. And did I have a backup and listen to my tutor's advice? No. My work, and most of all, my lemon, was gone. After a few hours of trying to recover my dying USB, I gave up trying to recover it and started just to redo all of the lost work. And after 4 days of painstakingly doing this work and drawing my Lemon V2, I finished it just in time to hand it in to meet the deadline. And surprisingly, I got a distinction like, holy hell, I did not expect that for only 4 days worth of work. But to be honest, my Lemon V2 was basically just as good as V1, but since that day I have always backed up to save my lemons. And I guess if there's a moral to this story, if there really is one, and anyone that is watching, just remember to always back up, as you never know when you might lose your lemons. And if you lose your lemons, then you'll be sad and dislike anyone who has lemons. To the next story, which I like to call the Tittle story. Tittle. So this was a couple of years after, so when I'm told to do something, I'll do it and invest all my time into it like the whole world depends on it. But when I'm told that I can't do something, I wonder why and try to do it anyway. And that trait came from the first year of university on my foundation degree. So we were all given the same project where we had each been given a word at random, and with that word we had to communicate all of it in a singular letter. I got the word interrupt, and with the way I work, which is usually 99% of times on a computer, as I don't really like doing handwritten things, I was thinking about how I could have it where every time you press the letter on the keyboard, it would come up with like a specific letter. And make a noise or something like that, so like freeze the screen, so it's like brrr. So in my mind, thinking of ways I can interrupt and annoy people. I do like annoying people in a good way, but then the tutors said we couldn't use computers. My ideas, my life, what has become. But after my little crisis, I brought together a lowercase I and made it all out of wood, connecting the tittle to the body with a foghorn. So whenever someone pressed the tittle, no, stop. A massive loud noise would play, interrupting anyone and everyone. I was proud of this, as it was a 3D. It was like 3D and everything made of wood, yada yada. I mean, granted, it wasn't the best build quality, but I was happy as I managed to make something by hand. So I go in on the final day to hand in my letter, and a couple of other students come in with their letters as well. And I look and just noticed that they're laser cut. And if I remember correctly, you need a computer to laser cut these, and like use the computer to make plans and everything. And so I was just there like, what? Just looking at them. I mean, I didn't actually shout that out because be too anxious, but I was thinking it in my head. Yeah, they got to use computers and the tutors allowed it. My feelings, my life, my original ideas. So yeah, since then, when I'm told I can do something, but I can't do something else, I will always try and find a way to do what I'm told I can't. But they also taught me something else, which was that I should try and do my work more quirky and make it stand out. And a good example of this is when I was in my second year of my bachelor's degree, where we were given this project called Professional Context 2, and in this I had to like make a CV and what have you, but the main part was to document the whole year. And when I was trying to think of how to do mine, I noticed that pretty much everyone was making like these really cool small booklets, but I didn't want to be the same as that, so instead what I did was make a massive friggin' timeline, and it was meant to be like 16 foot long, but when I went to the print room near to the final day, the person thought I was 8 foot and he already looked like really concerned, like, are you trying to break my printers? So I just let him print it out 8 foot. So after printing it out, I wrote it up and placed it with everyone else's, where they all had like booklets on the floor, and I just plonked this massive tall poster thing on there. I just want to imagine what it was like, the tutor's reaction to trying to open this up and seeing if like paper just goes everywhere. And so yeah, that was a couple of stories from my 7 years of studying graphic design, which also brings me on to why I made this animation in the first place. As the tutor who set up this project, not Gary, they said we had to make this project, but we could make it about anything we wanted, apart from ourselves. Yeah, so I decided to make this one about myself, because I was told I can't. I hope you all enjoyed this animation. Goodbye.